Hi. So, respected guest of honor, Professor Chetan, respected speaker, my co-convener, Professor Gaurav Sharma, Principal, School of Applied Sciences, Organizing Secretary, Dr. Kriti Srivastav, my colleagues from Gyan Bihar University, and dear participants. As the quote goes, learning is never cumulative. It is a movement of knowledge which has no beginning and no end today. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all on the occasion of commencement of this 2-week adventure of advanced online training program on the and instrumental techniques for energy applications. That is organized by Center for Renewable Energy and Storage in collaboration with School of Applied Sciences, Suresh Gyan Bihar University, Jaipur. Today we are starting first day of this training program and we will continue it until 15th of March. We are pleased to announce that Professor Chetan Singh Solanki, who is well known as Solar Man of India, has graced our program as a guest of honor. Professor Chetan belongs to IIT Bombay and is a pioneer in field of solar energy. Dear Professor Chetan, thank you so much for accepting our request and providing the time from your schedule to grace our occasion. We have recently organized popular lecture series in the month of December, January, and from the overwhelming response from the participants, we decided to bring this knowledge sharing and learning process to the next level. With this intention, this training program was planned. This training program, which aims to provide the emerging researchers in the field of material science and energy technologies with rich learning experience by listening and interacting with experts and eminent scientists would not have been possible without the cooperation of our speakers, who have kindly agreed to share their valuable time and knowledge with our participants. We would like to express our welcome and heartily gratitude to all the 14 speakers who came from various noted organizations from different parts of India. Now, let me talk about the participants. We initially planned for a limited seats with a number of 50. After getting several requests from participants, we increased the number to 75 at a later stage. I would like to mention here that in addition to different regions of India, covering from north to south and east to west, we also have participants from Japan, UK, and Kuwait, which makes this program international. I'm very happy to share that we have received few requests for the registration until last night also, and we positively allow them to get benefited from this program. We welcome all the 90 participants whose valuable participation gives us motivation to organize and improvise on such activities. Lastly, I would also like to welcome Ms. Sarika, Director, Apni Prayogshala Private Limited, who kindly agreed to sponsor our event and provided us necessary support to organize this program. Coming to the overall schedule of the program, each day is divided into forenoon and afternoon session, with forenoon session from 10:30 to 11:30 and afternoon session from 1:30 to 2:30 in general. There are some changes in timing also, which we will communicate later on. The program covers most of the aspects related to synthesis and characterization of nanomaterials, their applications towards energy applications, and details about characterization tools, including X-ray diffraction, SEM, TEM, thermal analysis, as well as various aspects of hydrogen energy, solar energy, and electrochemical energy storage. Now, not taking any more time, I would like to start your 15 days journey into the world of nanomaterials and instrumentation techniques with a hope that each of us will come out of this a little more knowledgeable and inquisitive than before. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Kriti.
खुशी गेट लगा दे. चुन्नू कहाँ है? चुन्नू कहाँ है?
Thank you so much, sir. I hope now our participants having clear idea what they are going to acquire through this training program. Dear participants, it is a matter of immense pleasure that today we have among us Solar Man of India, also known as Solar Gandhi. Let me take this opportunity to proudly introduce a guest of honor for today's inaugural function, Professor Chetan Singh Solanki from IIT Mumbai. Professor Chetan Singh Solanki is an educator, researcher, and innovator who is currently on unpaid leave from IIT Bombay. He has undertaken Energy Swaraj Yatra from November 2020 through a solar bus for 11 years until 2030. In this yatra, Professor Solanki has pledged not to go home until 11 years and stay in the solar yatra bus. In the wake of serious and catastrophic climate change, this Energy Swaraj Yatra is designed with the purpose to create a public movement towards adoption of 100% solar energy. He has been honored with the brand ambassador of solar energy of Madhya Pradesh government. Professor Solanki has also been referred to as Solar Man of India by Times of India, The Hindu, and India Today. Some people also call him Solar Gandhi. Professor Solanki has led major solar projects at IIT Bombay. Through his SOLS project, he has reached 7.5 million families, providing them clean light. There are several awards to his credit. These awards include IEEE's Global Grand Prize of US dollars 1 lakh, Prime Minister's Innovation Award for SOLS project, first prize in Solar Chula Design Challenge by ONGC, 3 Guinness World Record, 2 Young Scientist Awards, CSIR Science and Tech Award, Excellence in RE Skilling, Outstanding Green Activist. He also chairman of the committee of CBSE and AICTE for curriculum of solar syllabus and many more. Professor Solanki has written 7 books and published over 100 research papers internationally. He has 4 US patents to his credit, and following the Gandhian ideals, he has coined the word Energy Swaraj. His Energy Swaraj movement is a stepping stone towards energy access, energy sustainability, and climate change mitigation. To establish Energy Swaraj globally, he has founded the Energy Swaraj Foundation. During 2019, Professor Solanki traveled across the world covering 30 countries to spread the message of solar energy. And in his ongoing Energy Swaraj Yatra, he has already traveled 16,400 kilometers, reaching over 55,000 people across 7 Indian states. The 11 years Yatra is expected to cover travel across the country 5 to 7 times. The Yatra aims to bring awareness to more than 100 crores on energy and climate change through energy literacy and encourage more than 1 crore families to gain energy independence by 100% generating and consuming energy locally without any grid connection. So, sir, we are thrilled to have you here. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. Kriti. Good morning, Dr. Ankur. And good morning to all the participants. And thank you very much, Suresh Gyan Vihar University, for inviting me here and inaugurating this 15 days long session on nanomaterials and applications. I hope I'm audible clearly.
Yes, sir.
Great. So, as Dr. Kriti mentioned, I am on an 11 years long yatra. And for 11 years, I have decided that I will not go home and I will live in a bus. Right now, I'm not in my bus because I have come to some other city for meetings. But normally I sleep in bus. There is a kitchen in my bus. There is a washroom. There is a training room, reading room, library, temple, everything inside the bus. It is all solar powered. So there are 2 reasons why it can happen. One reason could be that a professor has gone crazy. Dimag ka screw deela ho gaya, and then he decided to live for 11 years in a bus. Or there can be a bigger reason why such a thing is there. So therefore, before you even study nanomaterials and application of nanomaterials, I think it is important to set a context in which we do things in our life. And today I'm going to give a little bit of a philosophical, a moral, technical perspective of energy. And in absence of such a perspective, we tend to do things which are very wrong and very harmful. And that's what we have been doing actually. In fact, that is the reason why the world is in a bad shape in my view as of today. Let me share my screen. So I'll quickly take about 30 minutes to go over, and then there'll be time for about 10 minutes for question answer. All right. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we
Great.
can see that. Yeah.
So, of course, there is a lot of science and technology growth, but the increase in climate change is even a bigger problem. And what could be the solution that we offer in the form of energy, Swaraj? So we are the modern humans of 21st century. We are very advanced scientifically, technologically, economically. We can go to the moon. We can send mission to Mars. We can even change somebody's heart. We can communicate anybody anywhere, anytime with our WhatsApp video call, which was unthinkable, 50 years back. So we are very advanced. And when we are very advanced, we have to be very careful about it. We are very powerful with our science and technology. And Plato mentioned that every king should be a philosopher, or only philosopher should be king. Because when we come to a powerful situation, philosophy has to be the important aspect of our life. Unfortunately, today, philosophy is not part of our life. And therefore, we are not knowing which way to grow, how much to grow, how long to grow. And if I ask even a prime minister that how much should we grow? How much should our GDP grow? Should it grow by 6% or 7% or 10% or 12% or 15% or 20%? I don't think anybody has the answer how much we should grow. The only thing that we know is we should grow. That's it. And therefore, without this philosophical angle, we are all like a headless chicken. And not knowing which direction and how we are growing, all this science and technology that we are growing, is it really making our life better or more complicated? Isn't it as a big question? So my first question to everybody, philosophical question, how are you? Dr. Ankur, what people say, I am fine, I am fine. Ask everyone in the world. Itna position हासिल करने के बाद में, पैसा हासिल करने के बाद में, education हासिल करने के बाद में, ask them, how are you? They remain fine. And I said, oh my God, what a disaster. We do not grow science and technology just for being fine. ठेला वाला भी fine होता है, पान की दुकान वाला भी fine होता है, collector भी बेचारा fine पे अटका रहता है. You ask every collector, how are you? They'll say fine. Gita says the purpose behind every single act that we perform in our life is to be happy, isn't it? And therefore, whether we want to eat good, whether we want to look good, whether we want to earn well, or whatever, we just want to be happy. That's ultimate purpose. And therefore, I've decided that I only talk to happy people. So everybody who's attending my talk, either they are happy or they can leave the talk. The choice is there. I hope you'll choose the first one and to be happy. And if you decided to be happy, the proof that you're happy is the smile on the face. So it's a compulsory to keep a smile on the face till I speak. After that, if you want to be dukhi again, you can be dukhi again. But during my talk, it is important to be happy because I'm going to talk to you about an extremely serious matter. So GDP is increasing. And what is the purpose of GDP? To increase the prosperity. Every time GDP increases, does it result in increase in smile also? When GDP increases by 5%, does it result in 5% increase in smile in everybody's face? No. Is the tension increasing? Is the stress increasing? Is the depression increasing? Yes. So this strain, almost everybody feel that this is the strain. So what is the purpose of increasing GDP if the smiles are going down? And therefore, I feel that there is something wrong in this world. My second philosophical question to everyone is, what is the most important thing in your life? You know what people say? Parents, children, job, position, health, happiness. But they forget the most important thing in the life. You know what is the most important thing? Probably you also do not know. All the participants also do not know until unless we do an exercise. Let us do an exercise. An exercise is very simple. Let us all close our nose for 60 seconds. Just don't breathe for 60 seconds. And you'll realize what is the most important thing in your life. So it is not your parents, it is not your bank balance, it is not your health, it is not your position, it is not your home also. It is the air that is most important. You can't live without it, more than a minute. And if that is something so important, have you ever done something to protect the air in your life? I'm asking every participant. Probably not. Have you anytime done something to pollute the air in your life? Answer will be big yes. Every time I ask this question, yes, we are working so hard to pollute the air, isn't it? The most important thing that we breathe. Water is very important in our life. Have you done something to protect the water? No. Have you done something to pollute the water? Yes. So GDP is increasing, but nature is degrading. Air, water, soil, river, forest, everything is degrading. So I have to say, oh my God, what is happening? So there is something wrong in this world. Dunya mein kuch to gadbad hai, Mumbai language mein we call it, Dunya mein kuch to locha hai bhai, Something is wrong in the world. And therefore I keep asking, is it a modernity or a stupidity? Is it a modernity or stupidity what we are doing? पंचतंत्र की कहानी में एक आदमी होता है जो जिस पेड़ की जिस ब्रांच पर बैठा होता है उसी को काटता है. ऐसे व्यक्ति को हम बोलते हैं मूर्ख आदमी. आज का आधुनिक मनुष्य जो उसके जीवन का आधार है, जीवन का आधार कंप्यूटर और मोबाइल फोन नहीं है, हवा, पानी और मिट्टी है. तो जो उसका जीवन का आधार है उसी को खराब करता है. तो क्वेश्चन है कि ये मॉडर्निटी की स्टुपिडिटी. सो इट लुक्स लाइक अ बिग स्टुपिडिटी. और ये स्टुपिडिटी कौन करता है? हम सब करते हैं. हम सब ने मिलकर खराब किया. So that is what we are, the modern humans of today. Every single element of nature, air, forest, river, is in a bad shape. Air quality index should be less than 50, but it is normally more than 150, 200, 300, which is becoming already unhealthy for living. Forest is considered lungs of the planet, but we have cut down forest by 33%. Water is important for our life, but 500 million people in the world suffers from water scarcity every year, throughout the year. Soil is important for our life, but we have degraded our soil by almost 30% and converted into dust where you can't grow anything. So every natural element that is essential, it is in a bad shape. The question is why? What has driven us to this state? ऐसा क्या हुआ जो हमने अपने ही जीवन के आधार को इतना नुकसान पहुंचा लिया? The answer is use of energy. We all use energy. Morning, evening, sleeping, working, walking, talking, every time we use energy. The problem is the energy that we use is a bad energy. And whenever we use bad energy, bad will happen because the whole world is a play of energy, our own internal energy. Why science is growing, technology is growing, economy is growing, but smile is not growing. Why friendship is not growing? Why love is not growing? Because our internal energy is also degrading. And when we are good in energy, we are enthusiastic, we are positive, we are creative. When our energies are down, we are destructive, we are dull, we are irritating. Similar to that, when external energy is also poor, then wrong things will happen in the world, and the whole world is a play of energy. Everything is energy. There are 17 Sustainable Development Goals given by United Nations. Each of these goals, whether it is hunger, health, education, gender, even climate change, peace, partnership, each center of each of these goals is energy. So everything is energy. But the problem is the energy that we use is a bad energy. Look at this chart. We have been using energy for last many years. Especially in 1850, we started to industrialize ourselves, and we started using coal, and then we started using oil, then we started using gas. But by 2022, we are using coal, oil, gas, nuclear, solar, hydro, and everything. But look at how little the solar, hydro, and wind and gas. Still, most part it comes from coal, oil and gas. 80-85% comes from coal, oil and gas. And this is the average of the world. So what is the problem with the coal, oil and gas? The problem is they are all made out of carbon. And every time we burn carbon, this equation happens: carbon plus oxygen equal to energy plus carbon dioxide. So are you responsible for emitting carbon dioxide? Every individual is responsible. Every second of your life, you're responsible. Every second, you're not aware. When you're cooking your food, you're using LPG, CO2, and it is made out of carbon, so CO2 is releasing. When you're traveling, you're using petrol, diesel, you're responsible for CO2. When you're using electricity, you're using coal, you're responsible for CO2 emission. When you're brushing your teeth, you're responsible for CO2 emission. When you're using your furniture or TV or sofa or bed or even clothing, you are responsible for carbon dioxide emission. So every second of our life, you're responsible. Where does this carbon dioxide go? We all throw this carbon dioxide in the atmosphere as if it belongs to our parents, as if it belongs to your father or your grandfather, your nanaji, dadaji. There is no limit, right? अपने पिताजी का आसमान होता है, जितना चाहे उतना छोड़ सकते हैं. There is no limit. Nobody has even ever told you that there should be a limit. This carbon dioxide is a garbage of the environment. We are throwing this garbage. The garbage that we throw from the kitchen is actually visible to us. But this garbage that we throw from the, our vehicles and everything is not even visible. This is a dangerous garbage. Why? Because this is a greenhouse gas. It's a greenhouse gas and it causes a greenhouse effect. And because of the greenhouse effect, global warming is taking place. The life of the carbon dioxide, by the way, is minimum 300 years. So once you throw the carbon dioxide today, it remains there for 300 years. And it is getting accumulating and accumulating. Look at this graph. There are the carbon dioxide concentration, how fast it is increasing in the atmosphere. From 280 ppm, it has gone already to 420 almost. There is 48% extra carbon dioxide that is sitting in the atmosphere. As a result of that, there is a global warming taking place. And look at the blue curve, how temperatures are rising. And today we are almost at 1.1 degrees centigrade. The global temperature has risen by 1.1 degrees centigrade. And which is equal to 2 degrees Fahrenheit, 1.1 degrees centigrade. So when the global temperature rises to 1.1 degrees centigrade or 2 degrees Fahrenheit, is this a big thing? Is it a big thing to happen? So look at this way, that our body temperature is normally 97, 98 degrees Fahrenheit. When body temperature increases by 2 degrees, we say it becomes 100 degrees Fahrenheit and we say we have got the fever. Similar to that, the planet temperature has increased by 2 degrees Fahrenheit. And it is not wrong to say that planet has got the fever. And when planet has got the fever, what happens when we get the fever? When we get the fever, we lose the balance. We can't do things properly. Similarly, when the planet has got the fever, planet cannot do things properly. There is a great imbalance in the climatic condition. As a result of that, I'm going to show you what is happening in the world. Floods. Everywhere there are floods and floods and floods. Where? Everywhere on the planet. Australia, America, China, Japan, Europe, Africa, Brazil, India. Even there were floods in the desert country of Saudi Arabia. There are forest fires everywhere. Forest is getting burned. There is forest fires in Amazon, Australia, California, Greece, Italy, Turkey, even Russia. There was a forest fire. Millions and millions of hectares of forest is getting burned. And we all get affected. Why? The global temperature is risen to 1.1 degrees centigrade. Ice is melting with enormous rate. This is the image that keeps coming in our newspapers. Enormous amount of ice is melting from the South Pole and North Pole. Where this ice is going, this is all going into the sea. And look at what is happening. World's fastest sinking city is called Jakarta, Indonesia's capital. Cities are sinking. Seawater is getting into the field. Seawater is getting into the farms. People have to migrate in the coastal area. That is what is taking place everywhere on this planet. And therefore, we are all going to feel the consequences. There are heat waves, there are cold waves. when Canada heat wave came, more than 900 people died because of the heat in Canada. More than 900 people. There are storms everywhere on the planet. So in a way, global warming has happened, and we need to limit the global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade, ideally, and maximum 2 degrees centigrade. 1.5 degrees centigrade or maximum 2 degrees centigrade. Why? What is going to happen at 1.5 degrees centigrade? At 1.5 degrees centigrade, the global temperature beyond 1.5 degrees centigrade, the temperature is going to have an impact on the climate, which is going to be irreversible in nature. So by 2 degrees centigrade, the entire climate change will be irreversible. We will not be able to correct it back. And therefore, 1.5 degrees centigrade is one of the most important number that all the human beings should know, or maximum 2 degrees centigrade. That is the number that we all keep in mind. The next question is, how much time is left before we touch 1.5 degrees centigrade? And as per the remaining carbon budget, the amount of time left before we touch 1.5 degrees centigrade is 270 billion tons of CO2 we can emit, which is equal, and we are emitting at the rate of 13.3 lakh kilogram per second. What is 1 second? Just like this. Within this much of time, 13 lakh kilogram of CO2 is being pumped in the atmosphere. So it's very dangerous. You divide this two, it tells me how much time is left. So as per the climate clock, the amount of time left is only 7 years and 200 days. In fact, the current climate clock or the live climate clock, if I show you, let me show you live climate clock, you'll know how little time is left. So I hope you can see the time left is only 7 years and 143 days as of today, right now, 7 years and 143 days. So therefore, we need drastic and immediate change in the energy use pattern, because the energy is the cause of problem. Energy is going to be the part of the solution. We need to take a drastic and immediate action in energy use pattern. What could be that action? By the way, how are we going to take that action? We are all stuck in our contradiction. One side we want growth, other side we want to reduce climate change. When growth is required, energy consumption increases, and because 85% of our energy comes from the coal, oil, and gas, it results in climate change. I'm sorry. Sorry. So one side we want growth, other side we want to reduce climate change. How is it possible? How can we do that? In fact, I keep telling people that these are the contradictory requirements, and anybody who solves this problem will not get 1 or 2 Nobel Prize. He should get 8 to 10 Nobel Prizes. And any audience who want a Nobel Prize, actually you can solve this problem. Use your nanomaterial knowledge. And how can we ensure growth without impacting the climate change? Could there be any material? Could there be any technology for the storage, for the generation? Can I use materials? Can I synthesize materials, new materials, and do that? But it is extremely, enormously challenging. And therefore I say not 1 Nobel Prize, you should get 8 to 10 Nobel Prizes. And all the best, anybody who wish to get a Nobel Prize, all the best for solving this problem. However, so in my view, the solution could be that we need to switch 100% to solar energy and surrender electricity connection. There cannot be any other way of doing it. Switch to solar energy, but 100%. How drastically and immediately? So I believe that we need to follow some fundamental principles, if you really want to solve the problem. And if you are going to develop our science and technology without a broader picture of this planet, and that's why I started with a philosophical angle. If we do this without following philosophical angle, we will be in difficulty once again, even if you use a lot of solar energy. So what are those 2 fundamental principles? First of all, we are having a mistaken reality. We do not understand something basic, that the size of the planet is fixed. The amount of water, soil, river, everything on the planet is fixed. But what does a modern human want? We want continuous increase in production and consumption. But that is not possible. That is not possible. So what should happen? We have to limit our consumption because size of the planet is fixed. We cannot continuously increase and produce more, isn't it? Second thing, so based on this Gandhian philosophy, that there is there's enough in the world for everyone's need, not for anyone's greed. I have made this law. I call it, in an ecosystem of finite resources, there can only be finite consumption. Only be finite consumption. You can't continuously increase and produce more and consume more. Second thing, we are having a growing imbalance, and the result of growing imbalance is the mass production, which results in unequal distribution. So what is the solution? Have a distributed production, because distributed production will bring more equity in the world. And without more equity in the world, there can never be peace in the world. And therefore, the second fundamental rule is, in an ecosystem of finite resources, there has to be distributed production. Distributed production. So the two fundamental, limited consumption and localized production, distributed production. And this we have to apply to everything. If you want to consume water, limit your consumption, localize your production. If you want to consume food, limit your consumption, localize your production. If you want to use clothing, limit your consumption and localize your production. If you want to use energy, then also limit your consumption and localize your production. These are universal rules. So when we limit our consumption and localize our production, it becomes energy Swaraj. And what is required in the world today is that we should follow energy Swaraj. We should adopt energy Swaraj. So adopting energy Swaraj means going 100% to solar energy. But to make path clear and make people and tell the right way of adopting solar energy, as I said, solar energy should also be used carefully. So what is the right approach to use solar energy also? The right approach to use solar energy would be this 3-step approach that I call it. Step number 1, avoid the use of energy as much as possible, even if it is solar energy. Avoid the use of energy as much as possible, even if it is solar energy. Do not use it. Why? Because there is no manufacturing in the world which does not have side effect on the environment. Nothing. Nothing. If you're brushing your teeth and producing a toothpaste and brush, that is also having side effect on the environment. If you're manufacturing your panels and using it, that is also having side effect on the environment. If you're discarding your panels and recycling any material, that is also having side effect on the environment. Therefore, the best thing in the world is avoid the use of energy. Avoid. And in my home, when I started looking what can be avoided, I thought refrigerator use can be avoided. Geyser can be avoided. AC can be avoided. And by the way, there is nothing, all this appliance I do not use at home. Why? Because 1 day of use of fridge and 1 hour of use of AC and one good bath of hot water with a geyser, we consume 1 unit of electricity, and 1 unit of electricity is equal to 1 kilogram of carbon dioxide emission. And therefore, the best thing in the world is avoid the use of energy. I do not use anything in my home in IIT Bombay. It's not because I'm a poor professor. No, I'm a professor from IIT Bombay. Also, it's not that I'm a sad person. No, I'm very happy without all this appliance. यहाँ तक कि अभी तक मेरा अभी तलाक भी नहीं हुआ, मैं शादीशुदा भी हूँ. कहने का मतलब है कि ये सबके बिना भी हम सब लोग जीवित रह सकते हैं और रहना ही चाहिए, because there is no way we can produce and consume more. So avoid use of energy. How much? By 1/3. Second thing is minimize the use of energy by 1/3. Minimize the use of energy by 1/3. How? Use efficient appliances. There are very efficient appliances available in the market today. Efficient lights, efficient fans, efficient TV, efficient refrigerator, efficient, everything is available and a very efficient alternative. So minimize your need by another 1/3. If you are going to replace your normal fan with a BLDC fan, you are going to save 50% electricity. You are going to save 50% money. You are going to save 50% carbon dioxide emission. Country is also going to save 50% money in importing that amount of coal. So that will be great help for everyone. Replace your old appliance with the new efficient appliances. Do not wait for the end of life. And if you cannot minimize beyond a point, the last step is generate that too locally. Generate locally, how much? 1/3. 1/3 energy should be generated locally only. It's not that if you're rich and you have a lot of money, you use a lot of solar. No, don't do that, because then you have to say, "No, so chuhe kha ke billi haj ko chali." Don't do that. Generate locally. And do little only. So therefore, my rule, if you really want to follow the right approach for adopting to solar energy, the right approach will be follow AMG. Avoid, minimize, generate. A means avoid, M means minimize, G means generate. How much? 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. And if you do not follow AMG rule, you have to say OMG. Oh my God, solar energy is expensive. There is no rooftop space. There is not this and not that. So therefore, follow MG rule. And when we start doing like this, when we start careful and disciplined use of energy, and then when we generate our energy locally, we use local resources, we use local manpower, then it becomes energy Swaraj. Then it is energy Swaraj. And when we follow energy Swaraj, then and then only we can solve the problem of climate change. So in 2019, there was a IEEE competition, of a global competition. It was all over the world. More than 450 teams took part, and we have beaten every team. And we were the global winner of $100,000 prize money. Using that money, I have donated and I have created this Energy Swaraj Foundation. It is a not-for-profit organization. And the whole purpose of Energy Swaraj is to establish Energy Swaraj everywhere in the world. To do that, I started Energy Swaraj Yatra, because I believe that only government actions will not be sufficient. We need a large-scale public awareness. We need to go to millions of people and bring them the sense that climate change has become serious and severe. We do not have time. We are running out of time. Everyone must contribute in it. And therefore, I started living in this bus and decided to not go home for 11 years. So I normally sleep in this bus, eat in this bus. And I believe that that should become a public moment. It should become a public moment. Energy Swaraj should become a public moment. Because unless we do that, only government actions will not be sufficient, and it will become very late. As I said, time is running out. We should all switch to solar energy right now and take a pride in saying that I am not part of the pollution. I am part of the solution. Let us start doing that. I believe that individual and institutions can decide and start doing it right now. And when we do that, then only it becomes a movement, and then only we can solve the problem of climate change. So if you are an individual, take a pride in that and take a pledge today that I will not, or I will switch to solar energy as soon as possible. You take your own target, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, whatever target you want to do. If you're an institution, take a pride, take a pledge today that I am going to reduce my energy consumption. By the way, this I request everyone to take. Reduce your energy consumption, reduce your energy consumption, reduce your energy consumption. And become energy literate. There's an energy literacy training that I have created. I request both the coordinator, Dr. Ankur and Dr. Kriti, make this training compulsory to everyone. In the next 15 days, while you are doing this course, this training is for 3 hours and it takes 15 minutes. There are 12 modules and each module is only 15 minutes. This is a certificate course. So while you're going through this training, why don't you take this training also? It's called energy literacy training. And I guarantee you that you will feel as a changed person when you go through this training. I know, note this website, learn.energyswaraj.org, and get this training done. Also, you can become a member of Energy Swaraj Foundation and help us growing, because we want to create a public movement. We do not take any funds from the government. We are also starting an Energy Swaraj Club. Soon it will be announced. You can all become a member of Energy Swaraj. You can start your Energy Swaraj Club in your society, in your institution, wherever you are from. Whichever part of the world you can do that, we are coming soon. So overall, you can take part in Energy Swaraj movement in more than one ways. You can become literate. You can surrender your connection. You can take a pledge to reduce electricity consumption, etc. Take also part in our conference and award, which are going to come in November 2022 this year. There is also an app called Energy Swaraj Movement and Yatra app. You can actually download this app and get associated with us. If you want our Energy Swaraj Yatra to invite to your college, you can also, through the app, you can invite. So you can also become a volunteer for the movement, and you can actually come and live with me in the bus. So with this, I would like to thank everyone and thank particularly the university for inviting me here. I would like to say in summary that the climate is not changing, climate has changed. And it has changed, and if we need to take action right now, and if we don't do this, by the end of this century, the global temperature will rise to about 3 degree minimum and up to 6 degrees centigrade. And if the global temperature will rise to 3 degrees centigrade, 4 degree, 5 degree, there is a question mark whether human life can survive on this planet or not. And if they can survive, how many of us will survive? And those who are going to survive, how they are going to live on this planet? Are they going to live in bunkers? Are they going to live only in air-conditioned rooms? So there are big problems if we do not solve the problem of climate change. And we are already into now or never kind of situation. Abhi nahi to kabhi nahi wala. So we say that, once upon a time, there were dinosaurs on this planet, and they are not there anymore. They disappeared because of the climate change. And if we continue to behave like this, sometime later, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years later, a new species will appear on this planet, and they will say, once upon a time, there were humans on this planet. Oh my God, what are we talking about, isn't it? I hope before it becomes too late, the modern humans will take some action rather than choosing to get extinct from this planet. So thank you very much once again for inviting me. I hope you're still happy and keeping a smile on your face. Your time is over, by the way. If you want to be dukhi again, you are free to do so from now onwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an enlightening session. I hope all our participants, they will be completing this training program with smiling faces. And I hope that they all have understood about the sustainability in the field of energy and environment. So, sir, shall we take the questions? There are so many questions in the chat box. The first question. Yes, sir. The first question that I can see is from Mr. Rajesh Mukherjee. How energy can be generated locally with small investment, and what type of subsidies are available for this?
Well, I mean, waiting for subsidy is another level of stupidity. We have a central government ministry which is there for the last 40 years. Our ministry has formed in 1981. Every state is having nodal agencies, and I have been working very closely with the government. I'm a brand ambassador of government of Madhya Pradesh. So I know that subsidies are not enough, that the money that typically there's a very tiny. The climate change is a serious issue, and we cannot wait for the subsidy. There is no subsidy actually. There's not much subsidy. It's a tiny amount. On an average, 3 rupees per person per year is a kind of subsidy available on an average. So therefore, when you follow AMG rule, you do not need subsidy. Why? Because you follow AMG, your energy needs will become only 1/3. You need to generate only 1/3. You need to consume only 1/3, or maybe 40%, or maybe 50%, maybe 60%. So follow AMG rule. Whatever subsidy you want from the government, that much reduction in energy consumption, do it. Consider that as a subsidy, and do not wait for anybody. And if you follow that, only we can create a movement. And as I said, policies, governments, projects, subsidies cannot solve this problem of climate change. It has to become a huge public movement, then only we can solve it. Do not wait for subsidies, my advice.
Sir, I guess our participants are really motivated with your session, and few are asking that how can they be part of your mission, this Energy Swaraj mission?
Well, the first thing to become part of my mission is to keep smiling from now onwards. I only work with happy people. So that is condition number 1. So if you become a smiling person, I call that there is a, Dr. Kriti, there is another kind of pollution that we all spread. One is the chemical pollution due to the smoke and all. Another pollution that we spread is emotional pollution. अपना दुखी और मुरझाया हुआ लटका चेहरा घूमते हैं, जब लेके घूमते हैं, तो हम जब दुखी होते हैं तो लोगों को कोई अच्छा नहीं फील होता ना. हम जब परेशान होते हैं तो लोगों को अच्छा फील नहीं होता. तो वो भी पॉल्यूशन है. आई कॉल इट इमोशनल पॉल्यूशन. तो दुनिया में आदमी को कुछ करना है तो सबसे पहला काम क्या करना चाहिए? इमोशनल पॉल्यूशन स्प्रेड करने से रोकना चाहिए. और जो आदमी इमोशनल पॉल्यूशन स्प्रेड करने से रोकेगा वो बाकी सब काम अच्छे ही करेगा, इसकी गारंटी है. So if you want to be part of my mission, stop emotional pollution, then reduce your energy consumption, surrender electricity connection, and become the pride honor of house which does not have electricity connection. अपने घर के आगे एक झंडा लगाएंगे which will demonstrate कि इस घर के कारण कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का एमिशन नहीं होता. That should become a matter of pride. मैं प्रेस के कपड़े नहीं पहनता, ये मैटर ऑफ प्राइड होना चाहिए. मेरी 2 बेटियों की शादी जब भी होगी, 2 बेटियां हैं, हमने नियम बनाया कि सिर्फ उन्हीं लोगों को इनवाइट करूंगा जो बिना प्रेस के कपड़े पहन के आएंगे. दैट इज द नॉर्म दैट वी हैव टू सेट. उल्टा नहीं, हम अभी हमारे नॉर्म्स खराब है सोसाइटी के, तो हमारे मूवमेंट का हिस्सा बनना है तो यू हैव टू बिकम सिंपल, रिड्यूस योर एनर्जी कंजम्पशन, स्विच 100% टू सोलर एंड हेल्प प्लेनेट टू सेव ह्यूमन लाइफ on this beautiful planet that we have.
Yes, sir. Sir, Mr. Tarun Patodia is asking, is there any alternate of sun for solar energy generators? How could we use these equipment?
सन से कुछ प्रॉब्लम है क्या? sun is the reason of our existence. है ना, हम बिगड़ गए हैं, हम बिगड़ के हमने कोल ऑयल गैस अपना लिया है. But without sun, nobody can exist on this planet. Not an insect, not a plant can exist. Sun is the center of our existence. It's the only source that is, and every other energy is derived. Most of it is from sun. So just stick to sun. That's it. Don't forget about any other source. I mean, there are others, geothermal and others, but they're not really so effective as the sun is.
Yes, sir. Sir, a few participants are also asking, like, how can they pursue their career in this field and what are the research options available?
Well, I think the career is very simple, because I believe that as the time goes and very quickly, people have to move to solar energy. There cannot be any other option. Somebody said very wisely that Stone Age did not end because of the lack of stone, and oil age will end much before the oil ends. So we are not going to wait for coal and oil to finish. We will have to switch to solar energy much before that. And there'll be great opportunities if everybody starts adopting to energy Swaraj. There'll be enormous demand by supplying solutions locally, fulfilling locally. You can skill yourself, you can become entrepreneur. In terms of research, if you want to do, you can do research on how easily it can be installed, how we can use nanomaterials to increase the battery material technology, how easily it can be done. The question is, it's not that we do not have technology. We can go to the moon also. So we have a lot of technology. The problem is, how do we simplify the technology so that it can be done locally? That is where the challenge is. And some people can become entrepreneurs, some people can become scientists in using the current knowledge and simplify it so that people can use it.
Yes, sir. Sir, Dr. Veena Yadav is asking, can charging of the electric vehicles battery with solar energy is commercially viable?
If we are going to, Dr. Veena, if you are going to get into the commercial viability, मेरा guarantee 100% मनुष्य प्रजाति धरती पे नहीं रहेगी. ये time viability का है ही नहीं. We are only 7.5 years away from 1.5 degrees centigrade. By the way, one biggest misconception people have in their life, the misconception that people decide to buy things because it is cheap or expensive. Absolutely no. I keep giving example. The gold is 50,000 rupees for a 10 gram. Do people buy gold? Yes. The car is 5 lakh rupees, 6 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees. Two-wheeler is only 1 lakh rupees. Do people buy four-wheelers? Yes. What does it mean? We do not buy things because it is cheap or expensive. We buy things because it is part of our priority. So if solar energy becomes your priority, it will never be expensive. Never be. And make it a priority, not for anybody else, not for the country, not for the society, at least for the love of your own children. मैं सभी पेरेंट्स को रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं कि अपने बच्चों को जीने लायक छोड़ दो. जीने लायक. Don't, and stop saying I love you to your children from today onwards, because the love is a very fake love. Why? Because जीने के लिए कंप्यूटर बाद में लगता है, मोबाइल फोन बाद में लगता है, कपड़े बाद में लगते हैं. पहले तो सांस लेने के लिए हवा चाहिए, फिर पीने के लिए पानी चाहिए, फिर खाना खाने के लिए चाहिए. ये तीनों चीजें की तो हालत खराब है. एयर इज नॉट प्योर एनीमोर, बिना फिल्टर के पानी नहीं पी सकता, बिना केमिकल के खाना नहीं खा सकता, तो उसके जीवन का आधार ही डिस्टर्ब कर दिया है। इसलिए पेरेंट्स लोग से मैं हमेशा रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं कि जब तक ये शुद्ध हवा, पानी, मिट्टी अपने बच्चों को नहीं दे सकते, तब तक आई लव यू बोलना पॉज कर देते हैं, है ना। 10, 20, 50 साल लगेंगे इसको ठीक करने, तब तक ये लव ठीक नहीं है। So what I'm saying is, don't go by commercial viability. It is the question of survival. Get into that mode, then it becomes very simple. By the way, electric vehicle with solar charging should come as a second. Avoid first. Can I live without electric vehicle? Can I go into two-wheeler? Can I use bicycle? Can I reduce my distance of travel? That should be the first question. If you do not follow these, as I said, धरती का size limited है, धरती पर पानी, हवा, मिट्टी सब कुछ limited है। यदि हमने जरूरतों को सीमित नहीं किया, जो कि हर ग्रंथ में, हर धर्म का पहला सिद्धांत होता है, लिमिट योर डिजायर्स, यदि हमने ये नहीं किया तो दुनिया का कोई साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी ह्यूमन लाइफ को सरवाइव नहीं कर पाएगा, कभी नहीं। इसलिए अभी नहीं तो कभी नहीं, आज ही करना पड़ेगा। स्टार्ट टेकिंग राइट एक्शन इन द राइट डायरेक्शन।
Yes, sir. So one last question I want to take. Ms. Tarika Kashyap is asking how industries can take part in this Energy Swaraj mission.
Well, industry can start making themselves as much possible as decentralized, because centralization, when I showed you two problems, right? One is how growing imbalances, and one of the reasons for growing imbalance is the centralization of resources. If any industry want to be more viable and sustainable, the best thing they can do is decentralize themselves. Or big companies cannot do that, so therefore let us start creating small units. So generate your own energy, generate your own food, or take the food only within from 50 kilometer area, 100 kilometer. Those kind of localization, produce clothes within 100 kilometer area. Once you start doing those kind of localization, then in real sense we will become sustainable in general on this planet.
Yes, sir. So all our participants, they are expressing their gratitude and they are saying it is an eye-opening session for them. I'm sure they all have benefited from your session, and I'm sure that our convener, Professor Ankur Jain, he has many things to say. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Pradeep. I would like to thank Professor Chetan Solanki for his informative and motivational talk. I'm sure all the participants, they have benefited a lot. Especially young students must have gained a lot of knowledge about the energy crisis and its solution. I'm really sure that most of the participants will join the training program which Professor Solanki has suggested. And because we have to start the next session on time, so I would not take a lot of time. I once again thanks to Professor Chetan Solanki for finding time from his busy schedule to join us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And all the best. Happy Mahashivratri to everyone.
You too, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I request all the participants to please join another link for our session 1 for today. Thank you, everyone.